Thunder, like you've never imagined.
Oh, that's a bit miserable. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator. This is David Steele, and yeah, it's raining. That's not really a good start to the day. Well, that's okay. So, as you've just seen, we're in Gaimon, and I am about to collect Red Thunder. Let's just wander over here. She should just be around the corner. There she is. Okay, I'm going to quickly hop across to the truck. Working on her for a little time. Oh, there we go. Well, I mean, she looks, she always did, more or less, which is good. All right, let's jump in the cabin. Okay. All right. First things first. I think what I got to do is go ahead and look at any notes that they've left me here. Let's see what we got under here. See, engine conversion notes, yada yada yada, leaflet, if you break down, if you have a problem with fueling, okay. This is all very interesting stuff, and I did read most of this online, but the reason why I've got some extra notes in Red Thunder is because today we are going to be experimenting with a different kind of engine. Today, under the hood of this 1.5 million beast, I'm just going to switch the external view there because we've got some lightning going on in the background, and hey, Red Thunder. Ooh, is the sun coming up? Ah, it's pretty. Anyway, before I get too distracted, under the hood of Red Thunder today, we do not have a diesel engine. We do not have a gasoline or a compressed natural gas engine either. We don't even have a hybrid powertrain, but we do have a hydrogen combustion engine. A prototype experimental hydrogen combustion engine, I should add, and it's an inline 6. In fact, it's based on a Cummins X12. It is a Cummins X12, just modified to work and run on hydrogen. Now, hydrogen is an interesting alternative fuel supply. There's two ways to power a vehicle using hydrogen, or two current ways. One is using basically an engine that burns it, and the byproduct, once you've dispensed with the power of the heat, is water vapor. So you're going to rust up those chrome pipes, but you're not going to be producing any particulates, not going to be producing any carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, all that kind of jazz. That's interesting. Now, there are some issues with burning hydrogen. It's a gas, or it has to be, fed in as a gas. And we'll come on to that in a little bit. And the technology is still pretty early. So, yes, it runs. So, it delivers its power more like a petrol or a gasoline engine. And the second way of doing it is using a fuel cell, where the fuel cell converts hydrogen gas into electric energy. So basically it's a bit like driving a electric car or truck. In this case, because it is an electric truck, but you don't have to wait an hour for the thing to charge up. You plug it in and plumb in some more hydrogen. But we've gone with the combustion engine because I want to change gears. I want to throw that gear lever, hear the engine hum and sing and all that kind of jazz. Okay, it's a Cummins X12. It's not the most interesting of engines, but depending on your perspective. Anyway, let's go ahead and fire up the engine. Okay. So, let's look at the specification, what we got under the hood here. Well, yes, we have the 11.8 litre X12 modified for hydrogen, and it's rated at 400 horsepower. Okay, I mean, that sounds fine. It's an X12 with 400, big deal. Yeah, it doesn't produce its power and torque like a turbo diesel X12 or even a compressed natural gas. No, this thing produces its peak torque at 1800 revs, and that's a lot higher. In fact, that's actually the governor on the X12 efficiency. It does rev all the way around to 3000. So you need to drive it quite differently. That's the key thing here. Is it doesn't drive like a turbo diesel. It's only producing 1150 foot-pounds of torque, so that's not a lot. I know back in the day, the 70s and 80s, that was reasonable. Today, this is not very much at all. So there is one advantage with less torque, but overall for hauling, it's not so good. The advantage is you can use a lower spec transmission, and we're actually using a direct drive 9-speed, a transmission that I originally built for the Ford CL9000. This has a 225 drive, it's direct drive. So the long and short is 55 is about 1500 revs. And when I say peak torque's 1800 revs, it actually produces peak torque a little lower than that. But peak power is capped at 400. The engine designer has said, look, we reckon this thing can produce 650 fairly easily with the torque turned up. But we've watched your videos, we know how you drive, we know you want to haul that outrageous £500,000. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So, power is capped at 400. But what's interesting is that the power is at 400 horsepower from something like 1825, 1850 RPM all the way up to the 3000 RPM limiter. It's not a governor of this engine, it is a limiter. So, how's that going to drive? Peak constant power for over 12 for about 1200 revs. In peak torque, its torque peak is something like 1200 to 1800 revs. So it's only got 400 horsepower. It doesn't have a lot of torque. How well is it going to work? Some epic thunder and lightning I can see. You know what? Let's find out. Right, I guess we'll get the truck configured. Let's get my wipers on. Everything seems to be fine. I think what we want to do is grab a job from somewhere. Rather than just chance it and turn up somewhere, let's see what's available. From Gaimon, where are we? Oh, there's plenty of local cities. Right, let's take a look. Large pipe sounds off. That would be a good one. There's a long distance to go. Yeah, I think we're going to head to Taylor. I'm not actually going to opt for that job. We'll see what's available. So let's see, where is Taylor? It's not that far. Okay, I think I've got plenty of gas in the tank. Let's see.
Let's go.
Going to use the truck today in automated mode because I'm actually beta testing this as well. So let's go. Oh, so far so good. Now it is going to be apparently it's not a glitch-free experience. That's a nice way of saying it's not going to glitch, but it's not going to be glitch-free. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that means, is it going to stall? Is it going to, be a bit lumpy? Its power delivery? I don't know. Everything else should work great. I mean, yes, Red Thunder has a good few miles on her, but we keep her in good condition. She's rebuilt after lots of trips. Something coming from the left. Okay, come on.
Never mind.
Oh, I was wheel spinning. Wow. Didn't really expect that. I mean, there's only 400 horsepower. Okay, well, what I'm going to do actually is I am going to just turn the game volume down a little bit. There we go, for now. I might bump that back up later. And let's ride along. So, yeah, I guess it wants to use a bit of revs. Will it let me select the top? No. Okay, so 1700 revs at 45 in 8th gear, and I've only got 1 gear left. That tells me it's pretty short in the gearing department.
Can you even reach?
Now, I like short things, don't get me wrong, but that is pretty short. And it's more like 6v92 as opposed to, oops, didn't mean to do that, as opposed to modern engines. Oh yeah, I need to get used to this. How long's it been since I've driven you, girl? Okay. Must be to use bottom gear to move off. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I really want to take a 50,000 pound load, but see what's available. I'm glad it stopped raining now. That rain wouldn't have been any fun. Well, I tell a lie. It was fun wheel spinning off the line there, turning left, but not really what I would have wanted. ABS is not enabled for today's trip. They couldn't get it wired up in time. And we don't have things like traction control and lane assist. Although ABS was standard from 2000, so I think it probably should be enabled. But we'll get a type exemption because it's a prototype. Maybe. Well, I mean, so far it's been drivable. Bit unexpected how the thing picked up and span its wheels when we left the yard, but okay. Of course, the real test is hauling a load. So let's see what we got going on here. Where's the foreman? Right, I'll go and check in. Let's see what have we got.
Right, market large tubes. That's a lighter cargo. Coffee tubes is also a good run, and that's Texas Cargo. That's a little far. Let's go for the 242 miles large tubes. Let's see if we can mix this up. So I've got a flatbed. Okay. So I've got a mini flatbed, which, what's the cargo weight there? 29,000 pounds, that's not bad. We have a bigger load though. A logging trailer. 39,000 pounds, okay. Is this one area? The double? 58. That seems a bit ambitious. But what better way to test? To test the engine and drivetrain than an enormous big load. I think I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna
Yes,
go
I mean, it should be able to take it, right, guys? And you want me to test this? You said it'd be glitchy, but you said it would be capable, so let's go ahead and grab the load. Okay. Turn those on, get my windows down for orientation purposes. Excuse me. Hydrogen is an interesting concept. I think there's something interesting about driving an electric vehicle, and if you've driven one, you'll know this. They seem very clinical, especially if you're used to driving. Well, it's a manual more so. If you're used to driving a non-electric vehicle, in other words, a combustion engine, petrol or diesel, it doesn't really matter, gas or diesel. And the electric experience is interesting because it's all very seamless. The best automatic transmissions can be very seamless, but the electric vehicles are... What's this? Let's correct this. And the electric vehicles are just a little different. They have that wonderful basically torque off the line at slow speeds, and they're quiet. They're not silent, but they are quiet. And hybrids can do this too. All that torque from usually close to 0 RPM. Wow, I have made such a mess of this. Okay, finally got the cargo loaded. That's not what's going to happen for the entire trip, right? Let's bump my volume back up on the game a little bit. Let's oh, I didn't put the parking brake on. Well, let's quick tug test. Yep, I would say that's worked. And let's see how well we can haul. Well, we can overhaul, I think. Overweight haul, maybe. It's up. So yeah, the electric experience it's different, and for a lot of people, it doesn't make a difference. They use their car to get from A to B. If you're a petrol head or you enjoy driving, for whatever reason, you may or may not enjoy the electric experience. I do, because it's just different, and I like the fact that it's different. And I also commute to and from an office, so I don't really need to make every trip to be an adventure. It's been there and done that, and it was great fun, but I don't need to do that every day. The fuel cell, yeah, it's the same thing. You have the advantage that you just top up with hydrogen gas, and it's a bit like plug it into a compressed natural gas tank. Great. You have, oops, didn't mean to bang the mic. You have all the same advantages of electric, because it is electric. Hydrogen combustion, something else. Turbocharge the engine. You can do most of the tricks you can do with a diesel or a petrol gasoline engine, but you produce water vapor and an interesting sound. So we'll see. The biggest problem, as I understand, with hydrogen-powered vehicles is not so much the technology to get the engines and stuff to cooperate and run, but it's the infrastructure required to get hydrogen onto essentially petrol forecourts or gas stations. And not even the whole tanks and the infrastructure at the pump side of it. No, because to get hydrogen from typically water, you've got to invest energy, and guess how most of that energy is produced? Yes, fossil fuels. So it's not exactly carbon neutral, if you will. You've got to invest and burn a bit of combustion, a bit of dinosaur fuel in order to get hydrogen. So your emissions at the tailpipe are better, but is it any better overall? Progress takes time for things to change, so I'm not going to sell myself unduly about this right now. I just want to see how well this thing holds, and also how well ATS 1.5 is running today, which is very variable. One of the comments on my video the week before I'm recording this was along the lines of, well, ATS, some days it's great, some days it's not, and I've got the same experience. And it might be location, so it's a bit janky right now. But at times it's real smooth. It looks pretty, don't get me wrong. But it's just, sometimes its performance is awful. I think today is one of those days I'm going to use the left-hand lane. Let's be a bit aggressive here. I'm not going to say anything to this guy. I'd like to tell him that I've got a hydrogen engine, but I don't think he's bothered. I don't think he will really care. And that's that's fine. Look at how unsocial I am. Sorry, everyone. A nice wallpaper, wouldn't it? Or make a nice thumbnail for the video. We'll see. We'll see what it picks. See what I end up picking as well. So I don't think ATS has ever looked so good, and that's great. But I think its performance has never been quite so janky. Okay. So this cement mix is probably an Allison automatic powered one, and that means is it quite quick off the line. It may not be that quick once it gets going. We are not really feeling any disadvantage from not having that much torque or having power high up in the rev range either. I'm usually slower off the line and all the stuff around me. Now in automated mode, it's not going to take you to 3,000 revs unless you really need to. So I'm not concerned about it short shifting. I have done. It's just the right hand lane. We don't want to be the left lane hogger. I'll just turn cruise on, and that will remove all of the adaptive transmission technology that's built into the game. Because I don't need it right now. I'm going to get the cruise up to, get the truck up to 55, and I think it's going to be able to use top gear 55. Find out. Oh, it can. Oh, there you go. If I wanted to ride around California and my limit's 55 and I want to use all those gears, then I would say that this ticks that box. We'll So on the one hand it's a bit weak, but on the other hand, in automated mode it wants to downshift and get you to close to 3,000 revs, okay? And I can see why you'd do that if the engine brake was a little weak. But a hydrogen engine really have an engine brake. Generally, spark ignition engines don't, because it messes up the timing and the fuel-air mixture, as I understand. Compression engines are a little different. You still compress stuff, you just don't have any fuel in there to burn. Well, for whatever reason, it's got something in there that's acting as a compression style brake or an engine brake, so I don't know what it is. I do see that the lanes merge up here, so we should let this yellow pickup truck go. I need to get in front of... where are you going, cop? I need to get in front of this guy on the left, because my lane closes, so let's signal left and see if he'll let me in. And he won't. Oh, he is now. Thank you. Oh, that's actually very courteous, and we didn't need to do that. Hey, we're in Texas. Briefly. I love the some of the industry that they've got in the game and how well it just looks. Plus, it's been a time since I've driven Red Thunder, and I forget how well, I want to say functionally pretty the W900 is. It's a big beast. I'm not saying that when you need to steer left, you have to go, hard a port. What's the engine go? Or something goes, aye, Captain, hard a port. I wouldn't say that because I like boats, of course. Maybe. But either way, yeah, it's big. It's hard to maneuver compared to most anything else in the game. Maybe the long wheelbase PW 389 is another one like it, but so let's see how well this thing accelerates from 55 to 65. Right now, not that impressively. So I'm going to see if I can. Well, let's manually put it down to just 8th gear. So at this point, we're producing constant 400 horsepower, all the way up to 3,000 revs. Is the acceleration any better? I mean, maybe, but it's hardly quick. Don't really think I can criticize it for that. It's just rated numbers there. We've got a whole bunch of weight on the back, so it kind of makes sense. I'll put it back into automated mode because it's done a fairly good job of it so far. And right now at 18-ish hundred revs, we're close to peak power. And we'll be at this peak power all the way to 3,000 revs, and so maybe shorter gearing would be useful if we come to a hill we need to downshift, but I don't think it's really a big deal. Get off my cruise and let the thing coast. It's interesting. It's not losing speed very quickly once you get off the Let's try something. Let's put it into neutral. Oh, look at that.
Stay left and then turn left.
Awesome instructions. Oops, okay. What I was trying to enunciate and explain was that it doesn't lose its revs very quickly when you get off the power. I did see something about that in the handbook. Let me see if I can have a look here. See if we got something in here that tells me about that. Look, we have something. I'll start waiting for these lights. Yeah, there is something in here about that. Oh, here we go. Okay, adaptations for driving. Okay, let's just read through this. Yeah, you know what? Let me summarize what it said. It's just reading that. It's just basically just reminding me what it said. So what it says is that the engine tends to hold on to its revs quite a bit when you drop the clutch, and that is for basically fuel mix purposes. So what that means is when you're driving a manual, you need to give it longer when you change between gears. So it basically cautions, if you're used to driving most diesel engines, it changes gears slower, and that's the reason why they're struggling to adapt it to a proper automatic right now. Well, to a torque converter, an Allison style auto. They're still working on that apparently. What that means is that when I change gear now, when it changes gear, yeah, it does actually take a time. I never really noticed that until now. Now I do. Okay. Let's see, my oil's running warm, but that's probably a symptomatic of running the engine at higher revs. Nice cruise on. Let's tap resume and put it to 60 miles an hour. Let it just accelerate me back up to where it needs to be. Let's go back and look at my temperatures again. So oil's 208. And in this update, the game does run your oil temperature and it's a little warmer than before, and your water temperature a little cooler. And they've also changed around some of that ambient air temperature readings as well. This right now is running quite warm, though we are doing higher revs, and the higher the revs, the higher the oil temperature tends to be, so that makes sense. Plus, the truck is not in perfect condition. 3% damage reported, but there's a bit of wear on there too, and that does make a difference. It's not a concerning oil temperature, it's just noteworthy that it's a little warmer than you might expect. It's entirely possible that this truck has a bit less oil in it than a normal X12, maybe it doesn't need as much. With the fuel not being as dirty, it doesn't get polluted in the same way. We've got up to 60. And actually we got up an inch fairly short order. What's this bus doing? Yeah, I don't like buses. I'm going to move over here. Oh! Wow. That was a near miss. Hey, this is current David to future David. You want to edit something that makes it look real cool, like slow motion bullet time?
Dramatic.
Dang. Okay, well we avoided a collision there. I lost a bunch of speed, but I had to anyway. Let's see, if I use the engine brake now, is it going to downshift for? No, it's not. Oh, but it does there. Okay. Well, I suppose,
Stay wet.
I suppose it will need to use downshifting to make the most of whatever style brake it's got. I wonder if that's like a modified version of a retarder or something. And could you not use that technology to help reduce the engine revs between gear changes, just as you can do with a jake brake and a normal diesel? You can reduce the engine speed very aggressively, or very quickly, by keeping the jake turned on. So when you drop the clutch, or when you take it out of gear rather, because you don't use the clutch, you tend to float the gears. The engine revs drop to 1,000 very quickly, so you can change quicker. That's some feedback I should give the engine developer there. I think I have to say I'm honestly impressed with how different this engine manages to feel and how well it performs. I think there is a lot of development to do, but can you imagine something like this with a flat power we're producing maybe 650. That'd be a lot of torque. You need to use the revs. And that's going to burn more fuel and more higher friction, but yeah, that's very interesting. Right, well, the speed limit says 75, but going down a hill. Let's see if we can get there. Sip of water past him here, I think. Plug it in, your tank capacity is a little less than you would be if it were a liquid or a liquid atmospheric pressure. And you have to have a certain amount of extra capacity. I mean, speed under control, I reckon that's where we are. Efficiency, it says you should know, or you should expect a difference in how the miles per gallon is compared with your old turbo diesel engine, but it doesn't really say. Oh, I see. Okay, so yeah, the note also says you know, it's more to it than just miles per gallon, because we can extend your oil changes a little bit further. You don't have anywhere like the same emissions control, but you don't have the emission control stuff, so your long-term reliability should be better. But it's a new engine design. Yeah, so they kind of avoided the question, which probably means it's a little thirsty. If we're thinking in miles per gallon numbers, and I don't know whether we really can, because is it comparable? I don't know. I imagine cost per mile is actually probably a fairer way of doing it. If you get 5 miles per gallon and your fuel cost X, you can work out what your cost per mile is pretty easily. So I think it makes sense. And if this is more or less, then that's how you can compare it. Also, probably shouldn't be reading the notes while driving, but I got cruise control. It's fine. Shady deal going on here. Oh, I can't see them. There's people on the street. I can see them in the mirror, but yeah, don't get involved, David. What an idle at 800 revs. Yeah, man, 1600 to 2000 darts. You don't really feel the fact that it holds on to its revs quicker. If I would, I wonder if they would recommend a transmission with a retarder. Okay, well, other than experimenting with this hydrogen type combustion engine, I think this experience has been pretty much what I would come to expect from a trip through ATS. The frame rate is incredibly all over the place right now. I don't have a counter set up because I was spending all my time looking at it. This seems fairly smooth right now with this view. Jump in here and take a look left, and oh, it's not that bad, I suppose. A lot of reflections going on here. Awful lot of reflections though. Trailer, the air filter, the mirrors. I've got loads on this truck. This truck here on the left's even got mirrors, but I don't think they're reflecting anything. I don't think so. I want to give it full power here. Full water production. It's not using the extra revs. We're going up a hill now, it might do, but we're not using the extra revs. Oh yeah, oh okay, there it goes. briefly. Yeah, and he's still getting away from me. That's why I used the right lanes. That's disappointing. I guess. Alright, I'm not going to look at the full map. We'll just have to go to the right-hand lane and stick right. He wants me to turn around. Yeah, we'll see what actually happens here. Okay, I know it just defeats the immersion, but let me just check the map. See. Oh yeah, I do. I don't really want to go the long way around, but I do want to check if we can still get access, if possible, this way here. So I'll look over my shoulder, get my window down. Yeah, looks like we can still go that way. Okay. I should have really looked to see if there was a hazard that was visible there, but I didn't. Busy engine brake type sound.
Stay left. Then left.
Speaking of braking the immersion, if you recognise what that engine sound is, leave a comment below and you'll get 5 extra bonus cookie special Red Thunder points.
Stay left. And then exit left.
Interesting that stay left as well. What do you say? Alright. Let's feed the power in. We'll give it full power here. You can see if it holds onto the revs as we take the on-ramp. It might do in 6, but it might just need to change. Oh, might want to change gear. Go. Okay, doesn't matter. Hasn't got enough power anyway. Okay. This is the moment of truth that's coming out when oh, look at that. Okay. 2300 revs, and it's going to shift up because we're just cresting the hill. There we go. Oh, okay. That's bad. I didn't see that, and I did look. And I know I could sneakily just go over there, but I'm not going to do a exit. Well, I think I'm going to call it done for the video today, because this could take me a while to figure out how I'm supposed to get back where I'm supposed to be, go the long way around. I don't want to subject everyone to doing that. So, I hope that you enjoyed today's little trip, experimenting with a new engine and just playing around with how to make it feel just that little bit different. Bit of backstory there as well. I think hydrogen is an interesting idea to burn in combustion engines. Maybe best of both worlds. If we can figure out how to produce the stuff without requiring gallons of oil to make it, then we could be onto a winner. Anyway, if you enjoyed it, you know what to do. If you thought it sucked, you also know what to do. And have a great day. I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. See you later.